Some are coarse people, some are hard-hearted, some are soft. There's so many variations in the degrees that you can't even count them. So if everybody can reach the truth with this instrument of delving deeper into oneself, they are not equipped properly and equally fit to do that. So the margin of error is so big that it's impossible to agree to with the experience of one in the light of a different experience of another person. So that is why the Holy Quran speaks of God Himself, the only authority to enlighten man as to what he is. Otherwise it will be just conjectures.
But even with God and the truth of God, people can only accept to the degree of their state of involvement, if you want to call it that. And so maybe what my truth is today, the truth I can accept today, is different from your truth because of your...
But we're talking only of degrees here, not as
but isn't that
something which cannot be compromised with the other part of our understanding. I'll explain. I understand the problem you have presented. You see, I come back to the illustration of God being the Rabb. Now I agree that every man cannot be of the same quality and capacity to act as the provident for others. And he may understand this word slightly differently, of course, or even with a big difference. He says, I am Rabb to my family and that's enough. Some say, no, he's Rabbul Alameen, so I must go beyond the family circles. But there will be no contradiction in them. Some will gain to a smaller degree, some will gain to a larger degree. So there is no danger of such errors as will deprive you of the purpose of this exercise. So that is why it is highly essential to know God from Him. And another reason why we are compelled to do so, we can't have another option, is that God is beyond human beings, beyond all understanding, including angels in all forms of life, because there is nothing like Him. So unless He reveals Himself, and only to the degree that He reveals Himself, we can have a measure of access to understanding Him.
But if we're all part of God, surely by looking within, we can reach those truths.
Part of God? God has no parts.
Okay, God is...
I mean, you visualize Him like a motor car with parts?
No, to me...
An aeroplane more complicated? Yeah?
No. I mean, okay, as I understand it, God, everybody... a lot of people talk about God in an image they can understand.
You have physical parts,
sure,
as I have.
Yeah.
But you don't have spiritual parts.
I don't.
Nobody.
Why?
I don't have either.
Why?
You don't have spiritual parts because spirit is indivisible.
It's indivisible.
It can have characteristics, but no parts.
Yeah.
You can't say this is the limb of the spirit, this is the arm, this is the elbow, and this is the neck of the spirit.
But spirit is energy, isn't it?
Physical beings have parts, and the spiritual beings have aspects or characteristics. That's all.
But what about the soul within us, the spirit within us?
The soul, as the Bible also says, and the Holy Quran also expresses the same truth in different words, but to the same substance, that God has made man after Him. That means the characteristics of God, which man could understand, has already been provided in him to some degree. So if God is kind, so the potential of being kind has already been planted in man. If God can be vengeful to those who hurt the innocent people, for the sake of innocent people, sometimes a part of them should be punished as well. So when vengeance creates goodness.
Yeah.
Only then God is vengeful, not otherwise. So that also is bred in man or human beings. So that is why I said spirit has no parts, but it has characters and attributes.
But surely the true essence of our being is spiritual.
Pardon?
Sorry, I'm taking up. Isn't the true essence of our being spiritual? I mean, this physical
right.
body is only a shell which we need for the earth plane here.
Well, not shell in the sense that is filled with milk, something like that. The whole body has constituents which run into billions. And each constituent of body in the form of cells of different types and natures are given different messages by God, and they have to act according to those messages, which nowadays the scientists call the DNA and RNA, character-bearing chromosomes and things. We believe that each body as a whole is not a shell but an apparatus. An apparatus from which soul is extracted and then governs it, and that soul has no parts. It's equally available to all, equally belonging to every part of the body, and yet you can't define this is soul and that is soul. It's invisible.
Yeah. When
it leaves the body, there is no decrease in the body weight at all. When a child is given life, it begins to breathe, there is no addition to its body weight. So it cannot be a mass. It has to belong to some dimensions which are incomprehensible to us, but its existence is beyond doubt. Because if we are what we think we are, the moment we think of ourselves, we prove the existence of soul.
Thank you. I won't take up any more of your time. Thank you.
Well, it's no fault of yours. The subject is very vast. Of course, I agree. Yes.